What's up YouTube, Dino here with wargames, bringing you, as you can see before you, Dino Shaddolls. Yes, it's very nice that, in the sense, both these decks that have kind of been dead or slowed down in the meta have been able to come back and be more relevant by finding each other. Yes, we're still waiting on that El Shaddoll construct to come back, maybe not so much now with the way the game is, but it would be very nice to see. As you can see, I've also put in Called by the Grave, which is the brand new card or promo card that came out in Extreme Forces Special Editions today. And this can actually very help extend your plays or just give you a bit more protection. Because we all know that the 90% of your Shaddolls can get hit with Ash Blossom. Even your Shaddoll Fusion can get hit by Ash Blossom, which can kind of suck. But then on top of that, some of your dinos can get hit by Ash Blossom, Ghost Ogre, and stuff like that. So Called by the Grave can actually help you get past that and then finish your opponent off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through the deck profile. I will be bringing you some test hands tomorrow just to see how the deck runs and kind of combos you can play with the deck. But for now, I'll show you what we've got and I'll explain why we've got it. So, we'll start off with the main deck and we'll start off with the monsters. So we play triple Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. Now, with the introduction of Overtext, which came out in Extreme Forces, it's so much easier to make this guy because Overtext can then search you out Double Evolution Pill. And Double Evolution Pill with the hand traps is busted as hell because you can bring this guy out straight away turn 1. And not to mention, if you have more, you can get multiple ones of these guys on board. You can even start playing rank 10s in your extra deck should you wish. I don't in this version because I want to keep my Ultimate Conductor Tyranno because they're just as good as rank 10s on board. Mixing up with your Shekanaga as well. So it does kind of help you move your plays forward. It's an incredibly powerful boss monster, probably one of the best in the game. The whole Book of Moon effect is quite nice going against it now because of stuff like Link monsters can deal with it a lot easier, but still at a 3300 beta is always going to be a pain to deal with. Triple Soul Eating Oviraptor, again, this is your main play card in the deck. You normally, you search a pill out, you can pop babies, you can search babies, it just kind of helps you get your, sorry, you can't search a pill out, but obviously it can help affect getting to your pill because you can send Overtext to the grave and then move your plays forward that way. So it's very versatile, very important, and can help extend your plays. Now I've seen a few builds not playing the babies. Now I'm only playing triple baby Ceresaurus. Now the reason I keep playing these is it's actually very helpful because it's an earth attribute. It's good for Shekanaga. Ultimate Conductor can pop it and Soul Eating Oviraptor can pop it. Now if you wanted to make this engine or the baby engine a bit more consistent, you can play Lost World and then that lets you deal with it first turn. But for now you don't have to play the babies. It's just an option that I've kind of put in because I still think they're incredibly powerful and useful. They can help extend your boards. They can help extend your plays and give you that protection you need for Ultimate Conductor Tyranno and maybe some of your other Shaddoll cards. Next up, we've got two of the new card or Overtext. Now this, I say new card, did come out in Extreme Forces. This is incredibly powerful. So it cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned from your hand by shuffling 5 of your banished dinosaur monsters into your main deck. I'll be amazed if you're going to use that effect like frequently. You probably do it out of an entire tournament. This is what you want though. Once per turn, when your opponent activates a spell trap quick effect, you destroy one dino monster in your hand or face up on your field, and if you do, negate the activation. And if you do that, destroy that card. This is the most important one. If this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can add 1 Evolution Pill spell from your deck to your hand. You can only use the effect of Overtext once per turn. So, you Soul Eating Oviraptor it, you get Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. You get the pill, you go into Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. You El Shaddoll Fusion it, or you Shaddoll Fusion it, you get a pill. So your board can then be El Shaddoll Winder and an Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. So not only are you going to stop your opponent special summoning more than once, you're then going to make sure that when they do special summon that one monster, you're going to Book a Moon it with Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. Like, you've got them in a very nice loop, and it's so consistent to deal with this, it's unreal. Double Giant Rex. Because obviously when you banish it, you can bring it straight back. So you've got easy ways of sending this to the graveyard with El Shaddoll or Shaddoll Fusion, because you can go into Shekanaga. Then when you banish him, you bring him back and you make your plays go forward. And there's quite a lot of banishing. You can banish him off of Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. Obviously we want to make that as consistent as we possibly can. So you banish Giant Rex, you get him back. So you're technically only banishing 1 card. Straight away, if you've got your Soul Eating Oviraptor on there, you overlay into Dolka or Lagya, whichever's going to stun your opponent the most, and 9 times out of 10 that's going to win you the game. We've then got the one Miscellaneousaurus, gives you your dinos to protection, and obviously gets itself to graveyard to be easy banish fodder or revival fodder for any of the monsters or any of your dinos. We then play the one Dracalio. Again, this is entirely optional, you don't have to play this. This just opens up the door for you to be able to do those standard plays of going into a Shambara to push in for game, or to go into a Trishula to rip stuff from your opponent's hand. The biggest thing with these is the dinos don't rely on the extra deck zone as much, but the Shaddolls do. So it's finding the right balance between the two that can really, really help. I play double Shaddoll Beast. Now you can play Beast at 1 if you want, but the ability to get that additional draw when it's sent to the graveyard is very, very helpful. Because it can be sent by a card effect quite easily. Like you've got your Ultimate Conductor Tyranno that can deal with it that way. So it never really becomes a dead brick, and that one draw could end up winning you the game. I like playing double Shaddoll Hedgehog. This is just to get me my Shaddoll spell, just because I want the consistency. But then if it's sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you get to add a Shaddoll monster from your deck to your hand. So it can help a little bit. Again, you can cut this down to 1 should you want to. But the reason I want to make sure I've got enough Shaddolls in deck is so that my Shekhanaga is always going to be live and active. You don't really want to be making a Shekhanaga if it's not going to be active for you. But yeah, of course, you do have the ability to recycle your Shaddoll fusions. And move it that way, but you want to make sure you've got enough targets to keep your plays going, which is why we also play the one dragon just to deal with back row. Sometimes this could be very, very helpful with sending with Schemata to pop back row and deal with that. And 9 times out of 10 you could probably hit the Solemn Judgment, Solemn Warning, which is going to be your opponent's only outs to your Shaddoll Construct, Shaddoll Fusion. God, I will get it right eventually, along with the Ash, but that's where Called by the Grave comes in. And then finally for the Shaddolls, we play the one Schemata. Now obviously Schemata is very, very helpful because it can pop a monster on the field, but 9 times out of 10 you're going to send it to then be able to send another one and help either get your effects off, so like the draw or the search, the draw, the search or the pop. So it kind of gives you a lot to play with, and it does give you a nice kind of 6 targets of Shaddolls for all of your other plays. Then onto the hand traps, you play a nice balanced lineup of 2-2-2. You don't have to play 2-2-2, you can play 3-3 if you wanted to. Put those down there. So obviously your Ash Blossoms can help both be fodder, or all your hand traps can be nice easy fodder for your double evolution pill. Obviously Ghost Ogre is quite helpful at this moment in time against the meta as well as a Effect Veiler. Ash Blossom is going to be good as a generic all-rounder. If you wanted to, I'd probably say take your Effect Veilers out and bump up your Ashes and Ogres. But with this, without touching into the side deck, I do feel that there's a nice balance of hand traps that can deal with my opponent's board. So obviously the Effect Veilers and Ogres, mainly for Pendulum Magicians, but regardless they'll still be useful against other matchups. And then Ash just hits the generic boards of everything that comes up against it. And then again, of course, they all become easy fodder for your double evolution pill. Next up, we go into the spells. We play triple Called by the Grave. Now, you don't have to main this card. The reason I main it is because, yes, alright, maybe the deck is better going second, but for those times you go first and you do need to get your Overactor search, or you do need to get your pill search, or stuff like that, you know, being able to get into pill first turn is very, very important. So if my opponent does have an Ash, I want to make sure that I've got Called by the Grave or some form that can stop them ashing me. Also, on top of that, going second, you're playing the hand traps to disrupt your opponent. So yes, they could Call by the Grave you. That actually helps you in a sense that even if they build up their board, you still know that your Dinos and Shaddolls can be incredibly powerful. So let's say they activate on your Ash. That means they can't activate Ash during their turn, so you already got one hand trap less to worry about. So it means that if you're going second and you've got Called by the Grave, you can deal straight away with that Effect Veiler, or with that Ghost Ogre, or even with the Draw and Lock. Whatever kind of card they play that might actually stop you, you can out it, and then once you've stopped their biggest counter to your board, you go off and you can absolutely wreck them that turn. So like I said, you can side it in when you know, right, I'm definitely going first, or I'm definitely doing this. But I feel it's always nice to have as a main, because hand traps are going to be mained regardless in this meta. Triple Shaddoll Fusion, again, incredibly powerful fusion card. I only wish that the Ancient Gear Fusion was as generic as this. Like, this lets you get into any Shaddoll Fusion. I would have liked the Ancient Gear Fusion to be the exact same. But Triple Fossil Dig searches out all your Dinos. Triple Double Evo Pill. If you open it, it's not the end of the world. If you open it, you just send something different to the graveyard with your Overraptor, or you search something else. So it's quite viable, and it's always powerful. You know, getting an Overraptor Conductor on board, you're like, yeah, happy days. Your opponent deals with it. Cool. Second Overraptor. Okay, your opponent deals with it. Excellent. Third Overactor, try dealing with that. Not to mention you've got your Shaddolls to back it up. And then going second, we've got the Dark Holes, the Foolish Burial, and the one Raigeki to board wipe and clear it off. Like I said, this is built for going second, so we don't really play traps, because we play in the hand traps and the Called by the Grave to kind of stop that. When you're going first, or if you know what your opponent's playing, that's where you side in your traps and your counters and your stuff like that. So you've got your D barriers, you've got your strikes, you've got your warnings, you've got your judgments and stuff like that. Now for the extra deck, we play double El Shaddoll Winder, incredibly powerful card, stops your opponent's special summoning, and then it can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So very, very good, powerful card that can stop your opponent, slow them down. And then, like I said, if you combo this off with Conductor, you've pretty much got game. Your opponent can't beat Conductor without special summoning more than once. If they Raigeki, cool. Raigeki, you get destroyed your Winder. Your Winder's not destroyed, so you're still slowing them down. They've got a lot to deal with. I like playing double El Shaddoll Shekanaga purely because it can be very, very helpful. So while you have a Shaddoll card in your hand, and specifically what you've got to remember is it's Shaddoll card, so if you've got a Shaddoll Fusion, you can obviously get rid of that. Sorry, brain's just gone dead. During each player's turn, when a special summoned monster activates its effect, while you have a Shaddoll card in your hand, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that monster. Then send one Shaddoll card from your hand to the graveyard. You can only use this effect of El Shaddoll Shekanaga once per turn. So it's a nice 3k defender, and it can stop your opponent activating effects of monsters. So again, even if you don't go into Window, going into Shekanaga can still deal with a lot of things that your opponent might throw at them, and then obviously Conductor can do their stuff. We've got the Run Grista. We've only got 3 targets to make this one, but of course, if you play 3 Ashes, you're going to have more targets than that as well. And if you play the Dogoron, again, you'll have even more targets. So during either player's turn, when your opponent would special summon a monster or monsters, while you have a Shaddoll card in your hand, you can negate the summon, and if you do destroy that monster, then send the one Shaddoll card from your hand to the graveyard. So again, it's kind of like a nice little Shaddoll Solemn Strike in a sense, and it's very, very powerful. And again, it gives your opponent a lot to kind of deal with and take in to kind of figure out how they're going to get past it in order to kind of beat you. And mixing the Shadolls with the Dinos is a great touch. I think it is an incredibly powerful kind of combination. For the Rank 4s, we've got the Abyss Dweller, we've got the Baguska, or we've got the Lagia, and then we've got the Dolka. Again, these two comboing off with either the Shadolls or your Ultimate Conductor Trino can pretty much really, really hurt your opponent. In this game, you have to be able to get over 1 negation, but if you can't get past, like, you make life harder for your opponent by giving them 2 negations to get past. Like, an Ultimate Conductor Tyranno is going to cause them issues, a Dolka or a Lagia is going to cause them issues, your Window or your Shek or your Grista is going to cause them issues, your Baguska, your Dweller is going to cause them issues, your whole deck is going to cause your opponent issues, so you do have the ability to be versatile of going first or second. Synchros, Trish and Shambara. Shambara is a game. Trish is to just rip stuff from your opponent's hand and field and graveyard, and it's easily made, so it's very, very powerful. And then for the links, we've got the 1 Deco Talker, the 1 Cassette Magician, the 1 Underclock Taker, and the 1 Saruja. Now, you don't have to play a Cassette Magician. The reason we've got a Cassette Magician in here is to deal with your opponent's Deco Talker or anything that they foolishly put in front of you. The fact is, you can also main a Kaiju, so you do have the ability to Kaiju one of your opponent's monsters, put it in front of where you would make this and bounce it. Yes, it's a little bit inconsistent because you're playing 2 engines of the Shadolls and the Dinos, but if you play it right, like I said, you ideally want to be... You don't want your Shadolls on board 9 times out of 10. You either want them in the hand for your Grista and Shekanaga fodder, or you want to be sending them to graveyard with the effects of the El Shaddoll Fusion, or the Shaddoll Fusion. So that's it for the profile. I hope this has given you a couple of ideas of how the deck operates and why the deck is now seeing a bit of a resurgence in the game today. To me, it's a very, very fun deck to play. It's quite powerful as well. The Shadolls were powerful in their prime and Dinos were powerful in their prime. So it's only right that they've kind of come together in order to still be relevant and still cause a lot of issues. Conductor, like I've said at the start, is probably one of the most powerful boss monsters in the game. And then Shaddoll Fusion is probably one of the most powerful fusions in the game, so mixing the two together is a no-brainer and could be incredibly powerful to come up against or to play. Yes, unfortunately the biggest downside of this is the Shaddoll cards have gone up in price, but if you already had them, either sell them and make your money off of them, or of course dig them back out, mix them with dinos, and then go and have a bit of fun. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. I will be bringing you a test down video for these decks, just to kind of show you how they operate and how they go. Until next time, guys, as always, happy dueling. What's up, YouTube? Thanks for watching that video. I hope you liked it. If you did, hit that like button. And of course, don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button in the bottom left-hand corner and the notification bell so you don't miss out on anything. We've got more deck profiles, duels, pack openings, and many more Yu-Gi-Oh videos coming up for you all year round. So don't forget to stay tuned for all of that. Thanks, and as always, guys, happy dueling.